Welcome to your on-demand module for myNGconnect.com for Reach for Reading. My name is Angela Terry Boggs, National Consultant for National Geographic Learning, and I am going to assist you today through this training. Today's objectives will be to share the resources available through myNGconnect.com to help you navigate through those resources and also to highlight some of the key features available to you from the website. By now you should have received your credentials for myNGconnect.com. If not, please see your administrator so that your username and password can be provided to you. When you log into myNGconnect.com, this is the home page you will encounter. As you see, there is a section of this page for students as well as a section of this page for educators. For our purposes today, we're going to look at the site as it relates to teachers or educators. Once you click on Educators, your landing page will be for your login information. Your login information is your username, which is your school-issued email address, and your provided or assigned password. This is the home page for Reach for Reading. The banner at the top shows your name, your school, as well as your district. If you are teaching more than one level of Reach for Reading, you'll find the additional levels here. There's a help button and the opportunity, of course, for you to sign out of this website. As you look at the home page for Reach for Reading, you will notice it has a 3-column format. In the first column, again, your name, your student and teacher editions, as well as your teaching resources. In the center column, you'll find items like your lesson planner, the presentation tool, digital library, interactive whiteboard activities, assessment resources, and more. The last column gives you access to National Geographic Kids as well as National Geographic Explorer magazines online. As we begin with Reach for Reading, let's start by taking a look at the teacher and student editions. For our purposes today, we will look at Grade 3, starting with the student book. This page shows the students the books available to them, the student book as well as the language songs. Let's open the student book. When we open the student book, I want you to notice the icons above the student book. The first one begins with the My Vocabulary Notebook, and we'll look at that in just a moment. You also have access to the Comprehension Coach if that was purchased by your district, the ability for your students to switch books from one particular book to another. They also can highlight within their electronic books as well as use the on-page glossary whenever they need to use it. If you look at the bottom of the screen, students can view their books in a single page format, a double page format. They use this area to either move backwards or forward in the text. They can even use this to zoom in or zoom out of their text. Today we are going to use for an example Unit 7. Unit 7 begins on page 412. If you highlight in this area and type the number 412 and then hit the Enter key on your keyboard, you will actually jump to that particular page number. From the unit launch of any unit, you'll see it looks just like it does in your student book, including the big idea question and the share what you know. Below the share what you know is an opportunity to build background information for students with a video. This video is about 3 minutes long.
Crash. Splash.
You can send the video to full screen, as I've done here.
What forces can change the earth? Earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanoes are some of the forces that shape the world we live in. These forces can be dangerous. So if we want to keep ourselves safe, we need to understand them. An earthquake occurs when the earth itself, the land under our feet, shakes.
I just wanted to give you an opportunity to see what that opening video looks like for your students. We're now going to move to the beginning of the selection. We're not just turning one page, we want to jump to page 422, hit enter on the keyboard, and we're at the beginning of the selection. Anytime you see this speaker,
Deep beneath the sea.
The text is red.
Stone breaks. Water quakes.
When you click the icon again, the audio support is taken away. The vocabulary notebook is an excellent opportunity for students to continually record the new words they are learning. Let's add a new word to our vocabulary notebook. Type in the word, choose the part of speech, and indicate how well you know this word. Once you save it in the notebook, it's saved there for students, and that notebook will grow. If students need to use the on-page glossary, they highlight the glossary, choose the letter they need, the word they'd like to hear the definition of.
Lava. Noun. Lava is the hot liquid rock that comes out of a volcano when it erupts.
And they can even add this word to their vocabulary notebooks as well. If your district purchased the Comprehension Coach, this icon will lead to
a selection.
They will be able to choose the selection in which they've been reading. You will be able to chart their reading progress, their questions progress, as well as create a reading report. It also provides you the words correct per minute, and students can earn geo points. Using this icon, students will be able to switch from one book to another, and they can even highlight in their electronic ebooks. Click on the highlighter, go to the section you want to highlight, and click and drag. The highlight will remain in the student's e-edition until they decide to remove it. Now that we've had a quick look at the student book, let's take a quick look at the teacher's edition for Reach for Reading Grade 3. The teacher's edition looks exactly like your teacher's edition you hold in hand. As you see, there are 8 specific TEs. We are going to look at the Unit 7 TE, which supports what we've just seen in the student book. A few features for you to note. You can move through your teacher's edition using the Go To section. That Go To section really highlights each portion of your teacher's edition. You also have the option to change books if you need to do so, and it will take you back to this page as you see here. You can zoom in or zoom out, making the page larger or smaller. Use a single or double page view of the text, highlight, make notes within your text, and there is a text search as well. And just as in the student book, you can use the arrows to move forward or backwards, or again, you may highlight this area, Type in the section or page you'd like to move to, hit enter on your keyboard, and it will jump to that particular page. As you see, your objectives, all of your resources, and everything you are looking at here is very familiar to you because it looks exactly like what you see in your teacher's edition. If you want to make a note, click on the sticky note, write the message or note you'd like to remember, and when you close that note, just place the note on the page so that it reminds you to do whatever it is you need done. The sticky note will also remain in your teacher's edition until you decide to remove it. Let's close the teacher's edition for a moment and return to the home page. We've now had the opportunity to view the teacher and student editions. Let's now focus on the section entitled Reach into Teaching. Here you will find your resource directory, class management, professional development, assignments, announcements, and more. We are going to focus for just a moment on the resource directory. When you launch your resource directory, the thing I want you to remember is that this is truly your one-stop shop for everything. Anything you need, you will find by unit in the resource directory. You also will find a plethora of additional resources, including your Common Core standards, here in this section as well. Let's open up the Unit 7 tab and look at the resources here. You will find your background video, your Read With Me text, your family newsletter, an opportunity to find or locate your practice masters and answer keys, reteaching masters, phonics games, and vocabulary games that are also available for your students when they log in to their website. Another important section of Reach into Teaching is going to be your Classroom Management tab. The Classroom Management tab truly shows you all of your class information. It grants you access to your User Management Console, and you will also find all of your students' information listed here. I only have one student in my class, but if I want to view the details for that student, I can click here. It provides me all of the information the student has been assigned, the student username and password. I can print that for my student as well as change the password if necessary. Returning to that Class Management home, I can even create announcements for my students. Clicking this button, a new dialog window appears. I give my announcement a title. I type my announcement or message that I want my students to read when they log in. Once I finish typing that message, I can move to the right side of this screen and actually assign this message to the students I'd like to see it. All of them or none of them. And if I'd like to make the message private, I could. I then post the message, and then when my students log in, all of them that I assigned it to will see this particular message. This is the student login, and if I wanted to log in as a student, I could go and see that message now. Also included in the resource directory is your access to your reporting. If your district has purchased e-assessments, then these reports will be active. If they have not purchased e-assessments, then you will not have access to those. There is another on-demand module specific to e-assessments. Let's take a look now at the professional development section. When you click the tab for Professional Development, another window opens. This is the home page. You will find support for research and best practices that includes author monographs as well as current research. You also will find additional resources like instructional routines that you can use with your students at kindergarten, grades 1 and 2, as well as grades 3 through 5. In addition to those instructional routines, there are also cooperative learning groups that are available, or cooperative learning routines that are available for you to use in the classroom as well. The last tab is for the on-demand training modules, where you find training modules for starting the year off right using Reach for Reading, teaching success with Reach for Reading, as well as modules for e-assessment and online coach. Let's return to the home page one more time. This time, as we look into Reach into Teaching, let's take a look at how we create assignments. Assignments are done very similar to what we did with announcements. They can either be full class based or individually based. Give your assignment a title and then a brief description of what it is you want your students to do. In this case, I want my students to explore the vocabulary games that are available to them for this unit. There is a start date that populates, and then there is also an end date that I can choose. Hit Next on the screen, and then you can make your assignments from your class roster, again, either for the entire class or just even one individual student. I then can choose from the digital library, teacher resources, a global search, or even web links for my students and their activity. I know that my games are included in the teacher resources. So I've clicked on my teacher resources. I open up the unit where we are now doing instruction, and I'm going to scroll to the bottom of this list, and I see my vocabulary games. And once I open that link, I can make that assignment to my students. I click on vocabulary games, indicate I want to add to assignment, and now that activity appears in the assignment list. And then I save and close. When students log on, either whole class or individually, in addition to that class announcement, they'll also see their assignments. Let's close the announcements as well as the resource directory and return to the home page. We've already had an opportunity to view announcements as well as how we use the vocabulary notebook. So now we're going to move to the center column of this particular page. So in the first column, we've reviewed the teacher and student editions, and as well as the Reach into Teaching. Let's now move to the center column of the web page. Let's begin by taking a look at the lesson planner. The lesson planner is a very easy resource for you to use. To complete a new lesson plan, all you need do is click on Create New Lesson Plan, give that lesson plan a name, and choose the start date you want this particular lesson plan to begin. After you have done that information, then go ahead and of course choose your grade level and the unit for the lesson plan you'd like for this to cover. Hit Continue, and then you will choose either the pre-made plan or you'll choose the Build Your Own. The advantages of choosing a pre-made plan is that it will put all of the resources available to you for this unit in your lesson plan. If you choose the Build Your Own lesson plan, if you have your curriculum based upon what the district says you teach, you would rather drag and drop resources according to your curriculum. For our case, we are going to use the pre-made plan. Hit continue, and then choose the amount of time you want to use spending on this unit, the 90-minute lesson plan or the 120-minute lesson plan. We're going to go with 90 minutes. Once you hit save, you should receive a message that says your lesson plan was created. Hit the blue OK button in the center of your screen, and then you should see your lesson plans. We started instruction on Tuesday. That's why you see that Monday date as being blank. All of those icons that you see on the page, you can move from one week to the next. We're going to go back to the beginning of the first week of instruction and see all of those icons that are there. Anytime you reach upon one of those blue links, that is an indication to you that that's a live link. When you click on one of those links, you will be able to see all of the resources that actually support that portion of the lesson. As you can tell, the lesson is quite lengthy because of the amount of time we said we were going to be teaching this program. I'm going to click on one of those blue links just so you can see what happens. This opens up that box just a little bit more to show you a little bit more detail about this activity. Any of these links are also going to be live, and then of course you see your Common Core standards noted for this part of the activity. You can print your lesson plans if you choose, but we're just going to close it right now. You can create as many lesson plans as you would like to support your reading instruction. Now that you've created your lesson plan, you can even access it through the presentation tool. This tool will not be available unless you have created a lesson plan. Choose the lesson plan by name, and then very clearly and very detailed you see all of the resources available to you for that lesson on that particular day. If you choose to teach this program electronically, then all of your resources are here at your fingertips. For every single day of your lesson plan, you will always see this full amount of resources that would be available to you. In addition to your resources being available to you, you also have those building background videos available to you right here all in one place. Of course, you could even access your student editions as well. And then one final thing that you could do through the presentation tool is access the word builder. And I'm going to talk to you for just a few moments about that word builder. When you clicked on that word builder, it opens up into a different window. To the left of this window, you will find transparencies, and there are a million of these transparencies that are available for your use. Click on any one of them and you will see full color visuals that you can use in your classroom. You can also expand them to meet the size requirements that you would prefer. In addition to the transparencies, you find your sound spelling cards, and the sound spelling cards are available for you as well. You can even turn those cards over and see the information regarding that particular sound on the back side of that card. One more transparency or card that is available to you would be your phonics picture cards. These cards are available to you to use in your classroom via your smart boards or your not overhead projectors, but your in-focus projectors that you might have in your classroom. On the right side of this screen, What you will find very useful for your students is a work mat so that they can build words, and you nor your students have to worry about students losing their letters. It is truly an electronic Scrabble board. If you want your students to create words as they learn those high-frequency words, or even as they learn vocabulary words, this is a perfect opportunity for students to build those words using the word builder from National Geographic. The student that we are looking at now is making a sentence for us, and we are going to just be very patient and see what that sentence really says. One of the nice things about the program, not only can the students add words and add letters to create words, in just a moment what you're going to see is even though those letters are there for the student, they can actually make those letters a word by linking them together. And as soon as this message is written, that N kind of got away from us for a moment, as soon as this message is written, you'll see that the student has made an indication of how that phrase or those letters have become actually a word. So those are just 4 different letters. If I drag this icon here and place it over the word, you see that it becomes underlined, and now I can move it as a word all at one time. I love reading, and that's what your students are going to be saying as they continue to use Reach for Reading from National Geographic Learning. Let's close the presentation tool, and now let's take a look at the digital library from National Geographic. The digital library is a wonderful resource available to you and your students. You can either search using the URL that you see here at the top of the page. Let's search for volcanoes, and when I do, I find that there are 34 different items available for me as it relates to volcanoes. If I click on one of those items on the page, I will see a full page visual for the one that I chose. This particular one happens to have labels. I can add it to my assignments, I can add it to my lesson planner, or I could even download it for classroom use. There is also a caption that is here to give me, the teacher, a little bit of more information about that particular image. You'll also notice that some of the images have this little video camera here. What that means to you is that this image is not just an image, but also a very brief video clip that can be used in the classroom. You could search by the resource type that you are looking for, and of course you could search by program as well. We know right now we're in Reach for Reading. I could even search by content or by topic. If I click on Reach for Reading and I choose the grade level that I have been working with and the unit that I have been working with, I can find additional visuals that are available for me to use within my classroom. All of these are available through the digital library, not only for you, the teacher, but they're also available for student use as well. And just as you saw with those from the search engine, you can add them to your assignments, your lesson planner, or download them. Another exciting resource available to you are the interactive whiteboard lessons. The interactive whiteboard lessons are pre-made lessons available for you to use with your interactive whiteboards. Even if you don't have an interactive whiteboard in your classroom, the information is still available for you, either through Smart, Promethean, or as a PDF for you to use in your classroom. I'm going to click on the Promethean format so that you can see this interactive whiteboard activity available to me. All of them are available for weeks 1 and 3 for use in instruction. When I click on that interactive whiteboard, as you see here, it looks like one of those interactive activities you've used before. My toolbar is available to me, and I can do all kinds of things with this activity. In this example, I can pull out the definition so that my students could pull out the definition so that they have that available. There are also signal words that I can highlight. Each activity will have a different guide or a different something for students to do to make it an interactive lesson. Again, these interactive lessons are available for weeks 1 and 3 of your instruction for Reach for Reading. And remember, if you don't use SMART or Promethean, you can also access this information using the PDF format that is provided for you on the screen as well. Let's take a look at that now. The PDF file looks very similar to what it does on the interactive whiteboard, but this is for those buildings and districts that are not yet using those interactive whiteboards that are available. Let's close the interactive whiteboard lesson and return to the home page one last time. The e-assessments is done in an individual, unique module. There is a leveled book finder that you can use, and you can also take a look at some of the other activities available on the website. The very last column of the home page gives you and your students links to National Geographic Kids and National Geographic Explorer magazines. I would encourage you to take a look at those during your free time. I hope that you have found this session to be beneficial to help you learn more about myNGconnect. Our objectives for the day were to share the resources available through the website. My goal was to also help you navigate through those resources and then highlight some of the key features that are available to you. Now I want to encourage you to go out to the website and play around with it and see all of the fun and exciting things that are available to you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.